Space.
I don't care.
Nerd.
Pat.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd at Heart. My name's Adrian, and my
And
co-host.
my name's Patrick.
How's everything going? Again, just to kind of go ahead and let everybody know what it is, Nerd at Heart is just a place where we get to discuss all the things that we love and appreciate about being a nerd, whatever kind of nerd you are. And this show in particular is basically discussing nerd news, things that might be of interest to people, and talking about shows and movies and anything else that we hear along the way. So without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and start, unless you have anything you want to add, Patrick.
No, nothing. I think you hit the nail on the head with that pretty good.
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with our first story of the day. So our top story. So as everything goes, we are going to talk about Star Wars. Ooh. We're going to talk about Star Wars Outlaws. And so some of the stuff that's been going on along with that. Now, I admittedly am not getting to play too many video games right now. So our friend Patrick is a little bit more up on some of the info for this. It's not, yeah. So what could you tell us about this so far?
So without giving any spoilers whatsoever, there are, just in case you're wondering about buying the game, there's 3 editions out for it. Sadly, there's no collector's edition because I would have been the first to get that. Let me tell you right now. But there's the Ultimate Edition, which has 2 different cosmetic bundles, the Season Pass, a single-player Jabba's Gamba mission, where you do some kind of mission for just Jabba the Hutt. And then you get the base game, which is, at $70. So you have the Ultimate Edition, then you have the Gold Edition, where you get the Season Pass, the Jabba's Gambit mission, and you get to play 3 days early. So the Ultimate and Gold, you get to play 3 days early, because the game actually releases August 30th, which, well, was yesterday. So
yeah, so
so I've been playing, however, since the 27th, because I got the Gold Edition, because I wanted to play early. I wanted the Season Pass. I mean, it's Star Wars. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Overall, the game is amazing. The graphics are astonishing. It's one of the best video games I've ever played, I've ever seen. I mean, you feel like you're living in Star Wars. The planets are massive. They're great. Everything's amazing with it. And overall, I mean, the enemies are there, the story's there, and it's just a really great single-player experience. Even if you're not a fan of Star Wars, maybe you're not a fan of, the usual single-player games, this is a game about exploration. This is, it can be a sneaking game. It can be a shoot 'em up game. But overall, it's a great game.
I think one of the things I wanted to add. Now, I'm still fairly ignorant with Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I'm nowhere in the realms of Patrick, and because a fan of Star Wars. Though I'm like I'm an OG fan of Star Wars because I was hatched while the original trilogy was going through, and I was a little kid, and seeing the movies in the theaters. So to me, it has a different perspective. Now, I will say, I think now I can't, like I said, I can't say anything about Outlaws yet, but I'm going to tell you how far behind I am, and this is what happens when you have a family. So I have only been able to complete Fallen Order so far. I'm working on Survivor, and actually I'm going to bring up something and see if you can give me some input on this. But the way after playing Fallen Order, I think that Star Wars, at least, in that realm, have been putting out some stellar content. And arguably even better than what's being produced at Disney Plus right now. And we'll talk about that a little later, because that, of course, is a big topic.
Yeah.
But with Fallen Order, I felt like I was immersed. I was having a good time. It was a great game. And actually, it not so much so that I'm actually quite excited to eventually, under other games I am trying to catch up on, get into Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor. So I saw this yesterday. So, and I want to know if you could. I saw that if you get an EA subscription, you could play the game off of EA.
Yeah, I believe that is the case. If you have EA Play, I believe it's called. Yeah, you can play Survivor. If you have an Xbox, you can get Xbox Game Pass. It's on there. And EA Play is included on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, well, I got a PC. But but I saw it on Steam. What is it? Steam. I saw it on Steam. So, and the thing was, I was like, it's $34 a year. This game is $60 out of the gate, and I'm like, ooh, how much replay am I going to get? And I mean, there are other games available.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, I honestly, with the, you saw how long it took me months, guys. It took me months to finish Star Wars Fallen Order, because if I get to play it all, it's like an hour a night, and I'm like some sort of little gaming ninja sitting in here going, hoping nobody sees me. like I'm doing something wicked.
Yeah. He's doing something illicit.
Yeah. Star Wars. Yeah. So yeah, here I am, just panting away trying to play Star Wars. And and so it took me ages to finish it. I remember, like, anytime I'd come into work, I'd be like, hey, Patrick, I played Star Wars again last night.
Yeah, he's always whispering, like, hey, guess what I did last night?
It's like it's bugged, and work is bugged. And and he's like, good. But and then I got to talk a little bit more about Star Wars. I got to be a little bit more geeky, it's great, so just to kind of give you a little background about me. And I mean, I've got two kids. I've got a almost 9-year-old boy who I have steadily been kind of introducing to the nerd sphere. And now I'm doing it properly. I'm starting at least in the 80s, maybe a little bit in the 70s in some cases. So he's seen the original Ghostbusters. I've shown him the original Dune. He's also, because he really liked Dune, we've seen the newer Dune. No. Now, don't come after me, because I've been showing my 9-year-old Dune. I don't think that's that bad. They would call it PG-13 now.
Yeah.
Back in my day, the rating system was different. I mean, I'm prior to the PG-13 rating. So Clash of the Titans, rated G. Thank God. So so these kind of things were, so I showed him that. He's even seen Clash of the Titans, by the way. And he loves Greek mythology because of it. Even though
Well,
that's about as accurate to Greek mythology as I am a feudal lord in Japan. So but it yeah, so anyways, not see I'm getting off on tangents, but yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think, check out some of these streaming services, maybe is what I'm trying to say.
I
Because
definitely would. It makes it easier,
yeah,
especially if you can't purchase the whole game. You can even get Ubisoft Plus for like 15, 16 a month. Boom, you have instant access to the game, the season pass, 3 days early even. You get
yeah.
it all. You get it all.
Well, and then that's the other thing is like I wouldn't set so for example, with the EA, makes me sound old saying it that way. All right, yeah, with EA, the also check out the yearly subscriptions.
Yeah.
So for right now, the EA, according to Steam, is $5.99 a month, right? For of course, that's going to be over 12 months. But if you pay for the yearly subscription, it's $34.99.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I think that might be the way we go because the really cool thing is some of the games that are also available on there. I mean, it's got like all of the Dead Spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have Fallen Order, so unfortunately, it
But it's
covers
got
that.
all the Star Wars games, all the Dead Space. I mean, it's got the whole
It's quite
EA
a bit.
catalog, the Battlefields, all of it.
Yeah,
They update it regularly with new games after they've released for a while.
So now that's the thing then. So there may be a possibility. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Outlaws might hit it, but we're not trying to suggest people wait a long time, folks.
Outlaws
Your
is
day is
Ubisoft.
coming.
Yeah, Outlaws is
yes.
Ubisoft.
Well, then that's not happening.
No, it's not.
What is it? Wait. Yeah, no. EA has Mass Effect.
That's on there too.
Yeah, but I already have it. Whatever. So again, comparing the price of paying way too much to me, again, art, way too much for a game
when
that
you
will
just
play
have a
slowly over months. I swear, I'm technically, if I pay $35 for the year, I mean, I'm paying half price to play the game, which will probably take me a year to play anyways.
Yeah.
So if
especially on your
my
schedule.
history is anything to go by, I mean, I was I was telling Patrick, like some of the games that I have in my Steam tray right now, or tray, whatever, library. That's what they call it. That's a word. So in the library, what I have, I mean, let's just get a perspective on this. I have Red Dead 2 still in there. I haven't played it yet. I'm currently eking my way through the story campaign of Spider-Man, and by goodness, I don't have time to do a lot of the side missions. If I'm only going to squeeze in every now and then, I get caught up in one of those little gang fights on top of a tower, dealing with like the demons or one of Kingpin's groups and doing that. And then that's my night. And I feel like I've done something wrong, because I'm trying to move the story along. I mean, I'd love to have all the suits and all of the stuff that he has, but at the same time, he gotta move.
Now, to be fair though, we talked about, my review about it, but I mean, Outlaws has had controversy.
Yeah,
it has had some issues.
Yes.
So for instance, a lot of people were upset that this singular Jabba the Hutt mission was locked behind, according to which edition you bought. So for instance, Gold Edition, Ultimate Edition, it was locked. That has been one issue of controversy where they're like, why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep locking stuff behind a paywall? And a lot of people are upset about that. But I mean, now that it's kind of already out, it's kind of, people aren't as worried about it anymore. But the bigger issue that, people who play the PS5 ran into, who did get early access. So they paid that paywall. They got it 3 days early. What ended up happening to them is they sat there and they played for their 3 days. It got to the 30th and Ubisoft's like, hey, we're doing an update. You're going to lose all your progress. And people were like, yo, why did I pay to get it 3 days early then if I'm going to lose everything I just got? And I mean, me personally, I mean, yeah, I'd be upset. I'd be mad. I mean, that's 3 days down the tube.
Yeah.
Depending on how long I've been playing, now don't get me wrong. I have a 9 to 5, I'm maybe playing 3 to 4 hours after work. It's a brand new game. But then what really upset people more was Ubisoft's response is, oh, well, what we'll do is we're going to give you guys 100 Ubisoft points, which you use in Ubisoft Club to buy like little additional DLC for the game. So it's cosmetic stuff. And then they said, we're going to give you a free little Trailblazer, which is the name of the ship in the game, little trinket to be used in the game. So like it'll hang from your speeder, or it'll be like Han Solo's lucky dice in the Millennium Falcon in your ship.
Yeah, I think we've seen something like that in other games,
Yeah, and everybody's really kind of sitting here like, okay, I just lost 3 days, and you're giving me points with your system that nobody even uses a lot of the time. And then you're giving me a trinket in-game that is just cosmetic. It's not more resources, because the game, to upgrade your stuff, you need resources.
Yeah.
You have to go get these. You have to do jobs. You have to farm for them. You have to pick them up. And now it's like, okay, I again, 3 days now. Now, thankfully for me, I play on Xbox Series X. We haven't had any issues. But, I do feel for my guys in the PS5 community. That is horrific. I mean, 3 days, you paid an extra, at least $40, and it's just whoop down the tube. So, yeah.
You know what, actually, something that you mentioned, because you were talking about in-game, and I think because we were having a conversation about that, you were saying that this is a very stealth-heavy game. That was one of the gameplay aspects.
Yeah.
And it's very unforgiving.
Yes. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I play games on easy mode because I want to come home. I want to relax from work. I just want to vibe. And this is a very stealth-heavy game. They do kind of lean you towards, okay, go in quiet. Don't make a lot of noise. Because the minute, things do pop off, and, you got to whip out the blaster, pew, pew, pew. You are overwhelmed with enemies. If you are at an Imperial base and they see you and things go loud, stormtroopers everywhere. I mean, they're literally coming out of the walls. It's like, oh my God, they're everywhere. And it is unforgiving. I mean, and then you have to hide, let everything kind of die down to then come back out and sneak and hopefully don't get shot.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I know at some point I'm going to want to play this or try to at least sometime. Because Look, I am, like I said, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a consumer of Star Wars. Have been for years. I maybe don't know. I think I have a fair to meddling, view of the lore and the things that have happened over the years, but mostly as it pertains to some sort of visual media, and the games, so Patrick here is a lot more in depth and is a font of knowledge when it comes to Star Wars.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Because he reads the comics, he reads the books, he keeps up with
stay up to date.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, I stay up to date on all of it.
Yeah, me personally, I'm like, awesome. That's good.
I will agree with you though. We talked earlier. You said earlier, the video games have just had some amazing storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, just some outstanding storytelling. I mean, in Star Wars Outlaws is one of those. Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, even Star Wars Squadrons. It was short, but it had a very good campaign from both the Rebellion and the Imperial side.
Yeah, and I had heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, leading up to the Battle of Jakku. I mean, a very nice campaign. And, and we talked about it earlier, but, that kind of leads into what's kind of going on over at the House of Mouse with Disney Plus, So, I mean, if we're getting this kind of storytelling from Disney outsourcing it to video game companies, why can't we have that same level of storytelling? For instance, like, we've all heard about it at this point, but the Acolyte TV show just ended.
Yeah.
And, sadly enough, it was canceled. I know a lot of people are upset about that. I think the petition to get it renewed is up to like 54,000.
That was the last time I saw it. So
so it's up there. There's love for it, but at the same time, this was one of Disney's most expensive series to date.
Yeah.
This was $22.5 million an episode.
Yeah.
The entire series was $180 million. It's an expensive show. I mean, it's a very expensive show. I've watched The Acolyte. Carter watched The Acolyte. We can do a separate review on like what we thought about it, but we did think the writing was not the best. I mean, it was slow at times. There were whole episodes that were just very exposition heavy. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it got canceled because nobody tuned in. And, I hate to say it, but I mean, even by Nielsen rating standards, by the third episode, a lot of people had dropped off, whether they were Star Wars fans or whether they were just looking for something to watch that week. People were not tuning into it. It had a little resurgence after the fifth episode. If you haven't watched The Acolyte, go watch it. I don't want to say what happens in the fifth episode, but, but it never got back to the peak numbers it had. I think it ended around with 200,000 by the time the season finale, which even the Ahsoka show had 500,000 by the season finale of that.
Yeah.
Show.
I mean, look, we both have a lot of, like opinions about it. And, I think I remember when we were watching it, going, well, before it even came out, we had discussed a lot about, how they're being kind of hush hush about it. They're kind of not, and there are just a lot of, without going into details and lack of memory, we were generally kind of going, there was a little bit of trepidation kind of going into the series. And, but we both entered this trying to be very open-minded about
very optimistic as well. Very
optimistic. Yeah. I mean, well, we wanted a good series, and the thing is then you had the first two episodes and then, and that's the thing. I think maybe we could actually do our own little breakdown of the series episode by episode.
We can definitely do that.
Oh my God. Sorry. Okay. Before I start, but there were unfortunately a lot of grumblings from the fan base, and there's a lot of accusations. I don't want to go into that because that's not
we're not going to go into that.
But
overall, I mean, it was canceled more than the reason being it was expensive. I mean, it's an expensive show. I
Well,
mean, the
and it had a
run-of-the-mill Disney Star Wars is kind of around 80, 90 million.
yeah.
This was almost, well, it was double that budget.
Well,
And then
it was
not enough.
definitely more expensive than Ahsoka, you
Oh,
know. So, and
exactly.
then on top of that, I mean, we haven't even said anything about the overall Rotten Tomatoes, rating, which was the lowest that they had experienced in Disney Plus history, pretty much.
Yes.
With
Yes.
that, well, at least Star Wars side. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
exactly, on the
misspeaking,
Star
maybe,
Wars side of things.
but it was at least I think the lowest was 13% at this point,
Yeah.
and
It was abysmal. I mean, it was an
yeah.
abysmal rating.
And I think what's happened here is it's brought up a lot of questions about, well, what is Disney doing? Is that Disney actually caring for the fan base? Are they actually paying attention to what the fan base wants? Because other shows are more popular. I mean, granted, we've talked about this. Like, if we look at the series that have come out, Mandalorian, basically, I mean, in some views,
Yeah.
saved Star Wars in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of actually, what was it? There was that Forbes article that we were reading that the guy said, and I think probably a really good point, is that the Acolyte series, unfortunately, has been the most divisive series
Yeah.
since the Last Jedi
Jedi,
came
yeah.
out, because that's what people just basically were ticked off with
Yeah.
what they saw. Now, that being said, you mentioned the 5th episode. That's when you have the biggest lightsaber battle
Yeah.
that's probably ever been recorded for Star Wars.
And again, without getting into spoilers, I
Yeah.
mean, the cinematography was amazing. The lightsaber
Mhm.
battles are amazing. I mean, it's up there with, I'm not going to say it's tied with Episode 3 lightsaber combat, but it
Yeah.
is up there with Episode 3 lightsaber combat.
Well, that I heard a lot of viewers were comparing it to the Episode 1, battle between Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
Going,
Yeah.
that's probably about the best one we
Duel of
had.
the Fates.
And I will admit,
Yeah, Duel of the Fates is amazing.
Yeah, I admit that I think it is. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
Now there are some consequences from the fight that have led on to like other things that we're kind of flabbergasted or gobsmacked about.
Yeah.
Especially when we talked about like the releases of some material what was it, San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, they kind of went a little all in on extra material around the Acolyte time period. We're getting a Vernestra Rowe novel, an original novel. It's coming out, should be around next May of next year, 2025. Which again wasn't exactly seen a lot in the show.
Yeah.
She comes from Star Wars The High Republic, the multimedia project. She's the only character that carried over from the High Republic multimedia project. I mean, she's popular, but is she popular enough to warrant her own novel set directly before the Acolyte? I don't know. There's also a young adult novel coming out for Jecki and Yord, which also in and of itself, once you've seen the Acolyte, you'll understand why. But again, that's also next year, I believe around June, July at some point. But this also goes into the fact of like the merchandise side of things with the Acolyte. We also saw like the Disney store for about 2-3 days there. They got rid of all Acolyte merchandise in the store.
And we can confirm that because we the day we read that, we were like,
we immediately, hey, I gotta check this out. I gotta see.
This is crazy. This is fake news.
Yeah.
And then nothing.
And it was gone. I mean, it was an empty storefront. There was nothing there related to the Acolyte. Yeah. And it really kind of then made us question, oh my God, is Disney like shutting down all other media having to do with it? Are they shutting down all the merchandise side of things? What's going on with that?
Well, and then that's what, yeah. Then ultimately, like, yeah, we saw some return of some products, but I think what's astonishing with the whole Acolyte thing is that ultimately Disney is just being quiet about it.
Oh,
they are, honestly, the only people that really officially reported it. I mean, I think there's been a little official word, but the majority of it has just been like the outlets and the news and, just going, well, it's canceled, but no big word coming from Disney. It's just kind of like, we're done. And then they moved on,
Yeah, exactly. I think
we'll
they're
sell what
it.
we can sell.
Yeah.
And for you guys that are collectors, and Patrick being one of them, because he was talking about like the action figure, the action figures, the collectible figures. Excuse me. Let me not, so, and and he's like, they haven't done one for the Stranger yet.
Yeah.
Like they need to do at least the Stranger.
Yeah. There's a whole fan base that is fanatic for the Stranger, the enigmatic Sith Lord that we see with the red lightsaber from the show.
Yeah.
There's been no inclination or hint that he's coming in the collectible market.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are like, I mean, there's a whole hashtag "Save the Stranger" because people want him as a collectible action figure. Yeah, save the Stranger. Let me tell you, that's the last man that needs saving. Once you watch the show, you will understand.
Well, that or the creepy Uncle Plagueis, that sits in the as he hugs the cables.
Yeah, there you go.
Leering at them.
But I mean, at the same time, I mean, they canceled it for a reason. It was probably the loss of money and low viewership. I don't think it had anything to do with vitriol or hate of the actors or the show itself. I think it was just, okay, it costs a lot of money. There's no viewership on it.
No, yeah, because they were talking about that the series finale of it had, I mean, like half the viewers of the Ahsoka show when it went up and, went down or finished, and it's not like Disney is really reluctant to give a sequel series. I mean, granted, they've also said no Boba Fett, no Book of Boba.
Well, that's not on the table yet. That's not on the table.
All right.
There's still hope for the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, hope.
I stand with Tamira Morrison in the want for a season 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I told you the other day, at least we know there won't be any more stories about Tusken Raiders. Because
hey, we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet because after the Acolyte, Disney has now come out with their trailer, which they showed off at D23 of the Skeleton Crew.
Oh, yes, the Skeleton Crew. Let me. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Hey, there it is. All right.
So yeah, I mean,
mid coffee there.
I personally saw this trailer over the weekend with a couple of buddies of mine. It's got a very ET feel. It's got that, nostalgic from the 80s, but it's got the futuristic Star Wars design motifs. I mean, even there in the trailer now, you can see it's a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah, that's Star Wars. I think that was the thing that, so obviously, so like coming back from when I grew up, 84 was the year the Goonies was released.
Exactly. And, it's got a Goonies feel as well.
Yeah. And those coming of age stories, to me, that's my reference is the Goonies. This is, I mean, literally, like I noticed the droid has one eye Willie. So I just thought about that. Sorry. And but the thing is they're on a crazy adventure, of course, all these little kids. That's the Captain EO animal. We were talking about that the other day. Saying
and you just saw the Jawas there. So you just saw the Jawas. So there could be Tusken Raiders. We might not be done with the Tusken Raiders. Yeah. But no. I mean, overall, the trailer looks very fun. It looks like, like you just said, a nice coming of age series. It's got Jude Law in it. I mean, me personally, huge fan of Jude Law. Huge fan of his Watson from Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Robert Downey Jr. But overall, it looks like a really good trailer. Now, the fan base, again, we're just coming off of the Acolyte. Like you said, man, it really divisive. Really divisive at the fan base. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt Disney in a sense that, oh, yeah, a new Star Wars show, yay, or it's, oh, no, a new Star Wars show, no.
I think the thing is though, we have to understand, and I think a lot of the fan base do, that the people who penned this series are different, so, and the fact that they are willingly slapping, even as we look at the trailer, just a second ago, you have the Filoni Favreau, logo on it. They did not get that with the Acolyte. And this is one of the things that came back is I know it like midpoint we were talking about it. It's like almost like Headland and some of the other people were going, oh well, Filoni was my mentor. Filoni said nothing.
Yeah,
he was as quiet.
They did one interview together with Headland sitting down with Filoni. And then after that, I mean, Dave.
That was early, right? That was
exactly. That was even before the series came out. Yeah. And then Dave was just gone.
Did he have his little cowboy hat on his heart the whole time?
Yeah. Dave disappeared. He just disappeared. He hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything for or against it.
Yeah, but I really do think we need to do a separate, bonus episode, at some point.
We can definitely do that.
Just guys, so before we kind of move on just a little bit, so if you ever want to contact us, you can email us at nerdatheartfriends@gmail.com or reach out to us on Facebook. Look for Nerd at Heart and just sign on to the Facebook. And if you want any suggestions, just on that point while I'm thinking about it, if you'd like us to do, we could do reviews of shows and things like that along the way, and talk about other things individually and spend a little extra time, give some in-depth thoughts on certain things, i.e. the Acolyte, or, as the Skeleton Crew is coming out December 3rd, that's going to be available when that comes out then. All right. So there's other things. We're still playing with a lot of this, but sorry, I thought about that.
No, he's right. If you're a fan, maybe we could have you on. You can discuss some news in your fandom. What's going on with you?
Exactly.
Like you said, give us an email, shoot us a message on Facebook.
Yeah.
Find a way to get into contact with us. As you can see at the bottom there, it's got all the different ways. And, maybe we can have you on the show, guys, and, we can discuss it together. We can have a nice topic about it, but overall, I think, but, back to the news at hand, other than that, I really like this trailer. I'm very excited. December 3rd, Skeleton Crew. I'm there. That's all they had to tell me. When and where, I'm there. Star Wars, I'm your man.
I'm even down for baby Max Rebo.
Exactly.
Like anytime look at how cute he is.
Oh yeah. He looks amazing. His name's Neil, apparently. Neil is his name.
All right. Well, not so adorbs, but okay. He's cute to look at.
But and then in other news, we did find out recently that Sigourney Weaver, the alien queen herself, is going to be in the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I saw that article the other day, and it was just like, I don't know how. So I don't think they've discussed really what she's going to be doing in that series. No. They all they've said is she has taken a role, and we will see her at some way in the movie. Me personally, Sigourney Weaver, if she were to play like an imperial governor, that's
that's what I was thinking.
She could knock it out of the park. If anybody has seen Cabin in the Woods.
That's what I was thinking about. It's the
Yeah,
administrator. Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver would be a great. I mean, like Imperial Remnant Governor, Admiral, Captain. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I feel like she could absolutely knock that out of the park. She'd do an amazing job. And honestly, she's just a great actress. She's an amazing actress, amazing woman.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, Sigourney Weaver is, she's got, of course, we're going to go into something else after the break, but she has a pedigree history when it comes to sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
But like the first thing I thought that she would be doing is doing, like maybe something like an Imperial or something like that. You can see her all dressed up in the gray because we're talking about like post Empire.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know, maybe she'd be the first female Moth or something that you see on screen.
Yeah. That'd be great. There's been plenty
of
the comic books, but we haven't seen any on screen in media.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I try to distinguish that because anytime I say, oh, it'd be the first, then Patrick has that background and knowledge.
Wait a minute.
A lot more material to pull from than I do. But I think she would be the first Moth to appear, as a female Moth. But that being said, she could be a lot of other things because I was thinking, she could wind up just being another member of one of the conclaves, or something like that.
She could even be.
Her voice is enough.
Yeah. It's Sigourney Weaver. It's very recognizable.
Yeah.
She could even be the head of a crime syndicate that Mando has to work with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But hey, a quick shout out from our sponsor.
Oh yeah. So because we've been talking so much about the House of Mouse. If you guys are thinking about, of course, it's almost like a rite of passage, and everybody goes to Disney World at some point. So if you guys are planning to do a journey or anything like that, you can contact our sponsor, Carters Wondrous Journeys. So you can contact our sponsor. So we'll listen to a real quick ad from them, and then we'll be right back. Okay? Here we go. Have you ever dreamt of stepping into a world of wonder, magic, and adventure? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dream no more because Carter's Wondrous Journeys is here to make those dreams come true. Imagine setting sail on a luxurious cruise, gliding through the sparkling seas, or stepping into the enchanting lands of Disney, Universal Studios, or other spellbinding theme parks. At Carter's Wondrous Journeys, we specialize in crafting perfect vacation packages tailored just for you and your loved ones. Whether it's the thrill of a roller coaster at Universal Studios, the magical realms of Disney, or the aquatic adventures of SeaWorld, we've got it all. So why wait? Step into a world of magic and adventure with Carter's Wondrous Journeys. Email today and let us turn your vacation dreams into reality. Carter's Wondrous Journeys, your gateway to the ultimate magical experience. Email us at usamagictrip@gmail.com. That's usamagictrip@gmail.com. Also, look up Carter's Wondrous Journey on Facebook. Like and follow our page for more. So, guys, if you've never tried using a travel agent or anything like that, just know that travel agents actually don't cost you any extra money whenever you're using them. It is all part of the package. So you will not see any difference or anything like that. So it is literally costing you nothing to do it. As well as when you have a travel agent or something like that, they will be able to keep up with the news, give you tips and hints and ideas, things you might not have considered because that's their job, right? So please take advantage of it. Contact Carters Wondrous Journeys. Go to the Facebook page. Email them at usamagictrip@gmail.com, and they will set up your holiday for you or help you get where you need to be. All right.
Yeah. Great people, great place, great service.
So speaking of the parks, so we wanted to talk a little bit about the actual parks themselves and kind of staying on Star Wars before we kind of talk about any other big changes there and start moving past just Disney. I think you were talking about the other day the presence of Star Wars at the park.
Yes, I was. So I recently went to the parks. About 2-3 weeks ago, my father turned 69. So me and my wife took him for his birthday. And of course we hit up Disney Springs because it's free. We went to the World of Disney, and there was a noticeable lack of Star Wars stuff. I was thinking maybe this is to kind of do with the fallout of the Acolyte, because again, 3 weeks ago the series would have ended. We didn't know it was canceled at the time. Don't get me wrong there, but this is a noticeable thing of there was nothing there. Even going into Hollywood Studios themselves, which is where we took my dad. He's a big fan of Star Wars, Indiana Jones, the Twilight Zone, which are all different rides and attractions you can find there. That at the end of the day, it was hard to see where is the merchandise for Star Wars. I mean, even going into Galaxy's Edge, you have the usual things, but a lot of it is stripped down now. I think they have found like what functions for them, what is selling, but it feels like a lot of the variety is just gone.
Yeah, I think, we talked about that. I mean, on top of all of that, Disney is, of course, going through a lot. It seems like a lot of big changes because in the Universal sphere, not just Disney, I mean, they're having, with Disney itself, they're having to do a lot of prep and get things. They're going to make a lot of big changes and stuff. And that even includes in Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. They're going to be doing changes in all of their parks. I mean, all of their parks are getting, even overseas, they're all getting.
I mean, they're getting additions, rides. Yeah. They're getting stuff moved around. Which I mean, if you haven't heard, if you want to see about D23, they announced the new Villains Land. They announced a Cars Land. I mean, Magic Kingdom is getting one of the biggest expansions it's ever seen, which is going to be just huge. I mean, in my opinion, and in the opinions of others, this is going to effectively turn Magic Kingdom into a 2-day park where you are going to need 2 days to do everything.
Well, and that's we were talking about that because I guess in lieu of actually doing another park, because there is limited land in the Disney World area. I mean, it's all built.
Well, that's why they're getting rid of Tom Sawyer Island. It's gone.
Yeah,
it's done. Yeah,
I know a lot of people are upset about that. Because that's been there since the opening of Disney World. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I don't know. It's not a draw. By any stretch of the imagination. The other thing is that I know, I'm trying to remember, I think this may be Disneyland more is the whole thing with they're now doing the World of Walt with a Walt animatronic, and that is taking place with the talk with President Lincoln.
Yeah.
But it's now, that being said, it is not completely, it is apparently alternating between them. So it'll be like half the year Walt, half the year Lincoln, or however they time it. I mean, again, a lot of the renovations that you're talking about right now are not going to be in place until at least 2026.
Yeah, or even later into 2027.
I mean, because all they've done right now, I mean, because a lot of the big things, like, for example, Dino Land USA and Animal Kingdom has gone away, but it's still there.
Yeah.
So it's going away eventually.
Yeah,
Because
and
that's
it'll be replaced by an Indiana Jones ride and the land from the movie of Encanto, with the
yeah,
Casa Madrigal.
yeah,
But again, this is stuff that's going to take, like you said, years to get done.
mm, yeah,
Whereas Universal is opening one of the biggest
yes,
just huge expansions we've ever seen with Epic Universe, with different lands, different hotel.
yeah,
Hey, again, if you're looking for a travel agent,
yeah.
but
Carter's
because that's
Wondrous
opening
Journey.
next year. That is opening next year.
Yeah.
So, I
Well,
mean, Disney really has to step up its game to compete at this point.
so to kind of talk on the Disney travel kind of thing, because next year would be a great year. 2025 would be a great year to travel to Disney if because especially if you got a younger family. Universal Studios typically does not have a lot of rides, or they don't gear towards small kids or young families as much as they do kind of the older families with slightly older kids, because the rides are a little bit more mature, for the lack of a better word. I mean, granted, they do have now at Epic, they're going to be putting like, Super Nintendo and
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Village. But the thing is that, and they will have more kid stuff there. However, Disney's king in that,
Yeah.
Disney has rides for itty bitty little munchkins, to your family, the adults.
Yeah.
So I mean, now with because now Rock and what is it, Rock and Roll Coaster? God, is that what it's called? Is open, and it's the first ride in Disney to have an invert. But that being said, also Disney has like some other things they're trying to offer, because they have to compete with the idea that Universal Studios is going to be opening a brand new park. So that is going to be very busy.
Huge park at that.
Yeah. Yes. Well, some might say epic. But the thing is that, yes, they're going to be opening this huge park, which, by the way, looks fantastic. I mean, so I'm not.
It really does.
Especially like it. Oh gosh, the Dark Universe. I mean, that's the first time Universal and Dark Universe recently has made me happy, because I saw the Mummy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny you say that, because again, one of the big expansions at Disney is the Villains Land. But personally, I feel like Universal Studios is doing a good job with this by appealing more to the mature audience.
Well,
because they know that their movies are very mature and, may not be geared towards children too.
Well, they do it all around. So like right now, I mean, of course, it's August. So of course it's pumpkin spice season and Halloween time. By next year, it'll probably be June. But right now, I mean, so you're dealing with the fact, okay, so the Halloween is celebrated very differently between Universal Studios and Disney. Disney is the house, it's literally called Mickey Mouse's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
Yeah.
And Universal is Horror Nights.
Well, that's what I was thinking, though, is maybe Disney could start doing something similar, not at Magic Kingdom, but at Hollywood Studios. I mean, because Disney owns now, technically, some horror movies. If you want to categorize them as that, because they bought 20th Century Fox back in 2019, they now have the properties of Alien, Predator, Terminator.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, so they can do a whole lot of stuff that way. But I think, but maybe that's the key, is staying for everybody, the whole family.
No, and I get that. Like I said, that would be a Hollywood Studios thing, whereas Magic Kingdom continues to have
I see what you're saying.
the Not So Scary Halloween Party. But again, like I said, and then with the newest thing, they just did come out with a new Alien movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
go ahead. Sorry, I apologize.
No, you're good. They just came out with Alien Romulus, which was made by the Disney Corporation, believe it or not.
That's the wrong one.
Uh,
I got just real. There we go. Okay.
No, Skeleton Crew is the Alien movie. That's not good.
That is.
The children are in for more than they really signed up for this time.
Come on, kids, in space, nobody can.
Yeah. Trust me, the Colonial Marines are coming to teach you how to use guns.
That's right, the Xenomorphs. Get them.
But no. I mean, it's a really good movie here. Fede Alvarez, the director, he does an amazing job. He stays true to the lore. This is honestly, it's in my top 3 of Alien movies. I'm a huge fan of Aliens by James Cameron, a huge fan of the Colonial Marine aspect. This takes more so after the original Alien movie, but it also plays a little bit with, it pays homage to the other movies from the franchise.
Yeah.
This takes place literally in the timeline between Alien and Aliens. So between the first and the second original movie. Now, I'm trying to convince you to see it because it's really good.
I'm not big on the dystopian stuff. I'm all hope.
Yeah, now the dystopian is that, yes, it's in the future and the company kind of owns everybody in one way, shape, or form. It's almost like indentured servitude, and you really don't have a hope of getting out from under the company, which in turn becomes the plot point of forcing our protagonists to do what they do in this movie. But again, like I said, that's just the backdrop, man. They don't even really focus on that. It becomes more about survival against the perfect organism or the xenomorph. Overall, really good. It's a breath of fresh air. Into okay. I mean, because the last time we got an Alien movie was 2017. I mean, this is beautifully well done.
And okay, to be fair, I have watched the Alien movies over the years. It's not that I don't, but the last one I saw in theaters was Prometheus, right? And that just put a sour taste in my mouth. Because I actually liked, so I mean, I the old series with Sigourney Weaver, when she was doing all of this, I really enjoyed Alien 3, and I liked, what was the I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Requiem, right?
No, Alien Resurrection.
Alien. What am I getting Requiem from?
You're getting that from Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Oh, geez, I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah.
I tied that in. We were talking about what are we going to talk about, and I said Alien Requiem,
and I was like, no, let's not talk about that.
I just want to talk about Requiem.
Let's not talk about that.
That's crazy, right? No, I remember, like, okay, so with Alien, Resurrection, I actually like that. I was very happy
I love
with
that one. Yeah, I love that one. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I dig Sigourney Weaver in that, being kind of like, a hybrid in her own self, doing like breaking off pieces and all sorts of stuff.
Oh yeah.
She was she was really cool in that. And
she was great.
I loved her in it.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, but again, that's part of the reason you need to see this, is they say there's a cameo in there, an Easter egg, if you will, of her. Now you'll have to, look for it. Yeah. But if you find it, you got to tell me. But again, like I was saying, this is a nice breath of fresh air into a franchise that, in my opinion, kind of needed it. Alien Covenant didn't do so well. Like you said, for a lot of people, Prometheus kind of left a sour taste in your mouth. I mean, this is it. This is what was needed. This is almost as good as the video game they came out with a while ago, Alien Isolation. It's there. It's spine chilling. The horror aspects there. I mean, and it's a great Alien movie.
Yeah.
It really gets down to roots that the series was built off of.
Actually, that's one that I've been thinking about. Yeah. You were talking about that quite a bit for a while.
Yeah, Alien Isolation, really good. But again, this is what we need to see more of. We need to see more of franchises having really great series or movies in their franchise. So for instance, they just announced the trailer for Lord of the Rings. The War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah, that's see, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. So
so
for me,
this looks like an absolute breath of that fresh air for this franchise. Because we kind of we have Rings of Power, but again, just like the Acolyte has been for Star Wars, divisive, Rings of Power has also been divisive for the Lord of the Rings fan base.
Yes. Oh, we were and the thing is so the new series has only been out this week, and there's already been a lot of
controversy. Controversy.
Well, I mean, we were talking about the one right before the show, where we were talking about the orc families now.
Yeah.
And Tolkien, the thing is that there's quite a bit of this show, and I'm being generous here, that goes against what even Tolkien wrote. They are just kind of like, well, that old fart didn't know what he's talking about. Let's make something that's a piece of crap. I mean, sorry, I'm being a little too much on the nose of my opinion.
He's being facetious. He's being facetious in his wording.
That's what I'm doing.
But I mean, like I said, with because Lord of the Rings hasn't gotten as much in its franchise as people would like. You've had two really good video games. You've had Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, which are universally panned as really good. The story's there. Amazing gameplay. You have the Nemesis system in Shadow of War, which redefined, replayability, the able to keep fighting. Then you have, different things like that. But don't get me wrong. You also have some bad stuff. We all know that Gollum game that came out that was absolute trash, belonged in the dumpster.
I heard tales.
Yeah, looked horrible. It was $40. It came out and it looks like somebody picked it out of the garbage can and tried to clean it up. The gameplay mechanics on it are horrible. The graphics are horrible. Don't get me wrong. It's $40 last I checked.
Really? Still?
Yeah, it should have been free. No one I know has ever left a good review about it. But again, that's part of the reason that like I said, but the War of the Rohirrim, which again, this will be Lord of the Rings' first animated movie, looks amazing. This looks like the breath of fresh air that Lord of the Rings has needed since, the video games that came out, since Shadow of War, in my opinion.
I think that's the thing. The problem is, and now I'll give Rings of Power this, is that, I mean, well, actually, I don't know if I can, but this whole thing, Tolkien has a very rich history for the world. I mean, he has a very rich, very in-depth history.
It's a tapestry. It's a tapestry in place.
But the thing is that with the Rings of Power, I think there's just too many things that they're taking for granted, or they're just I don't know, maybe they're focusing on the wrong things. They're making changes to the overall story, and at the same time, I'm really excited to kind of see the Rohirrim series, just because the War of Rohirrim, because I think it's going to be great, especially knowing that Peter Jackson is back involved. I mean, on top of that, Peter Jackson has also announced that they're going to be releasing the Hunt for Gollum.
Yeah.
I think are they planning for 27? Is that when it's supposed to come out?
I believe so. Yeah, and that Andy Serkis will
Oh,
return.
26. So
Okay, so even earlier.
yeah,
This is good news. This is
yeah,
very welcome news.
and you mentioned Andy Serkis. I am a huge Andy Serkis fan.
Oh, love him.
Yeah.
Love him. He's a great actor, a really
Yeah.
nice guy. I mean, if you ever get the chance and he's at a convention, just even if you can't afford an autograph, don't get me wrong, just go talk to him. Really nice, amazing human being.
He
Really nice guy.
Yeah, I was saying I already have I have the Lord of the Rings, in quite a few versions, but as soon as I found out he did the audiobooks, the recent ones, I went ahead and got those as well because I wanted to make sure that I had Andy Serkis at all times, I guess.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, I
not that I'm that crazy, but but close. So no, it really is exciting to have another series. Now the thing is that I know there might be stretching the story a little bit, but at least I feel like you can kind of trust Peter Jackson a bit more than you could other people who who are out there doing stuff now. But yeah, and we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to the hunt for Gollum.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and then, and we've already kind of discussed, what's going on a bit with the Rings of Power. I mean, yeah. So I don't want to say too much until I've seen more.
We'll save that. Let a couple more episodes come out. We'll do a series overview. But overall, thanks guys for tuning in with us. This is like our first official episode.
Yep.
Again, give us an email over at nerdatheartfriends@gmail.com or find us on Facebook.
There you go.
As always, again, shout out to our sponsor again, Carters Wonderful Journeys. Thank you for sponsoring this video. We really appreciate it. And again, tune us in. What topics do you want to see discussed? Do you want to come on the show as a talking head as well? Give us a like, please subscribe, and tell us what you want to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just understand that, we are here to help people get the chance to express their love for their thing that they nerd about. So, I mean, it could be, I know we discussed Star Wars, I'm actually quite a big Trekker myself. Star Wars, I still love Star Wars, but, Trek has definitely been.
I'm the Star Wars fanatic.
Yeah. But at the same time, there's no hatred for one. It used to be the case when I was younger. However, and plus there's, whatever you want to hear about, if you want to hear about other things. So of course we talked a lot of Star Wars and Disney, a little bit of Lord of the Rings and Aliens. We have some other things that we were going to discuss, but we'll hold off.
We'll save it for next time.
Yeah.
And, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
All right. Nerd love, guys. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Peace.